experience at a Slipknot show?
Let's talk about it, y'all. So, pretty much the end of summer show for us, I think.
I know. That was kind of sad.
As sad as that may be.
It was a fun experience, though. Start to finish.
Yeah, it was a very, very good experience, start to finish, and so we're going to talk about it. So
Let's talk about
it, y'all. Well, initially, the good thing about it is last time when we went to the corn show, we were late, yada, yada, yada.
We were fighting. If you go on our Instagram, again, in the description of these videos, you'll see where our Instagram is. And if you go on our Instagram, we upload videos while we're gone. So usually every time that we go to a show, there's some jihad that happens between us. Something gets forgotten, something is late, something is I'm hungry. Usually that's a big one.
The big thing is that I'm kind of like, I have a very interesting relationship with time, so it's kind of like, eh. So usually when we leave, it's literally like at the last minute. Like you don't have literally any time to spare by the time we leave. So I can function very well that way. It's like if I'm thirsty or I need to go to the bathroom or whatever, it's like, well, suck it up. You got a 2.5, 3 hour drive, so do it. Not this one.
I'm not like that. When my family would take trips, we would leave early enough to stop at least 1 or 2 times, using the bathroom, getting snacks. The drive itself was part of the journey. So that's the experience that I want. But when you're flying by the seat of your pants, nothing is there. It's just very...
Right. Now, we were supposed to have this, like, it's like a VIP. It wasn't VIP. It was like an enhanced experience.
Enhanced
or something
experience
like
is
that.
what they call it.
We were supposed to have this enhanced experience, and they were saying the show started at 5:30, but we were instructed to come at 2 o'clock. So we got there, we got up, we left at like 10 a.m. We did a really, really good job.
I got up earlier than early, so that way I could go and, get a bunch of food and do all kinds of stuff to set the kids up real good and make sure everything was situated. And then I came back and we headed out. Everything was very timely. It was just, the day was going very well.
Yeah. And then like an hour before we hit the venue, we get this phone call and they're like, Slipknot has canceled wait for an email for your refund.
Oh my gosh. You're never going to believe it.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Goodness.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We're supposed to be checking in at 2 o'clock, and we literally just got a phone call.
Well, the check-in, we were supposed to, us and a small group of people were supposed to have a Slipknot, museum experience thingamajig curated
by them.
By Slipknot. But
due to technical difficulties, that has been canceled. Literally 1 hour before we're supposed to get there. So that kind of sucks. Because we were looking forward to that.
Kinda. So. Who dare you?
There better be some kind of refund.
Better be a good reason. Much love. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. So, I was okay. I was okay with that. I was just worried mostly about the kids because... Yeah. I could just imagine. But I think I misinterpreted what that package was because it was like, it's a museum of Slipknot curated by Slipknot. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
I assumed that meant that Slipknot would show you around or whatever.
Yeah.
But that wasn't what it was anyway. Either way, it got canceled. So, okay, whatever.
I was a little bit disappointed because, Vin had hyped me up to say that we were going to meet the band there. And I'm actually used to just meeting the band at every concert that we go to, basically. So I was like, oh, this is cool. We're going to do it again here. But we're going to not come from the media standpoint, but just from, a fan standpoint. So I was curious about that and interested in that. And then it got canceled, and I was like, eh. But then I was like, well, that frees us up. And I love hanging out with Vin. So for me, it was like, well, I still get to hang out with Vin, so.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and that's when we went to the Target Pizza Hut thing with the...
Yes, because I was trying to find some black lipstick.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was a disaster.
Yeah. So we're at Pizza Hut or whatever, and there's a grilled cheese, okay? And then there's a pizza. So here's the pizza.
So I ordered my pizza that seems safe.
Okay. This is Sori's pizza, all right? Now
That's good, huh?
here's my grilled cheese.
No joke. This looks like just... Look at the cheese.
Look at that shit. Look at it.
Babe, how much did you spend on that sandwich?
Yeah, about 75% for what you spent on this pizza. So, there you go, guys. The day just continues to get better. Then out.
Sorry, out.
And then you so anyway, we were hanging out. We got to the venue. We did pretty good at the venue. We got our little packages. You get these where did it go, babe?
Oh, behind that. I cleaned. It's behind that little thing there.
Where's the... Okay. So we got these special little Slipknot thingamajiggies, and then you see the little patch there and all that.
There's a patch. There's like the clear bag, because when you go to those concerts, you can't have a bag that is not see-through.
Right.
So they give you one of those bags, and there's also this book. I'm not really sure what it is.
It's,
We Are Not Your Kind is on the front, so I'm not like...
So there you go.
Yeah.
It's got all this stuff in it. We're actually...
There's the other thing too, that picture. That.
We're actually going to give these 2 away to our Slipknot fans who are...
On Patreon.
Patreon.
Yep. So we're going to create some contest, or I don't know, something. We'll pick names out of a hat. I'm not really sure how we're going to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, 7-7. So when we went there, we went to the show, we got our little packages or whatever. And then we're standing in line. And this... You had you forgot something in the car.
Oh, my word. So I still have stomach problems from those antibiotics that I took, so they're like putting me on something else to help my stomach. And so I forgot that in the car. I'm like, shoot, I gotta go back to the car.
Yeah. Like, did you take your meds?
Yeah, so Vin's like, I'm like, just wait here, I'm gonna run back to the car. So I ran back to the car, and then I came back, and everybody was like waiting in line and stuff. But I guess there was this lady there. Look, okay, this is wrong of me, but I still did it anyway. I snapped a picture of her. You can't really see her face, just her hair, so I feel like it's still okay. But just for the story to have some context.
This woman was miserable. Extremely miserable. So you went to the car, so she comes back to scan everybody's ticket, and I was like, well, I have a virtual...
I had the tickets.
I said, I have a virtual ticket, and she's like, no, sir, we need the ticket with the barcode on it, because she's from Boston. We need the barcode. I said, well, my girl's at the car. She's got the ticket, so, you know, she rolls her eyes at me, does this thing, and then keeps on walking. So Sori comes back, and I'm like, yo, like, this woman's, like, losing her shit. Like,
yeah. And then I was like, I feel like putting these tickets in my pocket just to, like, mess with her a little bit. And then Vin's like, do it. So I stick the tickets in my pocket, and then she comes by. She was like, tickets. She was all annoyed. And I said, tickets? And then I like looked around like confused, and I was like, oh, okay, you mean like this? And then I pulled them out. She goes, ugh. She was like, she got so annoyed with me. And then we scanned them. I was like, I'm so immature. Scan my tickets. Then you laughed, and that made her more annoyed.
She was tight. She
scanned tight. Both tickets. Then she kept walking. Then she goes, who's the other person? Because there was 2 tickets, and I'm like, him. And then I'm sure she pieced it together why you were laughing that the whole thing was a setup. We were really terrible. We shouldn't have done that. We apologize now.
I don't really apologize. I mean, why were you so miserable, lady?
I know.
The day had just begun.
Yeah, but she didn't want to deal with the Slipknot crew, I think.
Really? Oh.
Because they have all kinds of different concerts, so there's different types of people that she would deal with.
I just think she's just a miserable lady. That's fine.
She didn't want to deal with us.
Okay, so we finally got in. Now, this is when we got introduced to Elizabeth.
Well, we had just before that, because I'm going to add the video in, we again, everything was chronicled on Instagram, but when I got there, I took a picture while I was waiting in line because he had to go back to the car to put all that cool Slipknot stuff that we got. So he was bringing that back to the car, so I snapped an Instagram photo and put it on, and then it started this like jihad because somebody was upset. I'm not really sure what they didn't like about it. I don't know if it was the lipstick or what, but something about being Christian and wearing that was over the moon or something.
Beyond the pale. Beyond the pale.
So there you have it. So then we get in and we meet this band.
Elizabeth. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
I'm Isaac. From the band Elizabeth. Elizabeth Burry, get it? Elizabeth Bathory Burry. Very smart name
Listen,
for a
in the
band.
background, you're going to hear his song he's doing. It's called Coraline. I
Yeah.
really liked it. Listen out.
Check it out. Then out.
Story out.
Gone. So somebody, dude walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, Vin and Sori, da da da, thank you, yada yada yada." So I'm like, "Oh, what's good, fam? Blah blah blah." I'm like, "What's up, man?" So then he starts.
Use another line. You snatched him in our line so he could go right in.
Oh yeah. He was in the longer line, and we were in like some sort of priority line or something like that. So I was like, "Yo, come on, fam." So he kind of looked around and he jumped with us, and then we walked out with the big homie. And he was pretty much with us.
Yeah, pretty much the whole night.
Yeah, he disappeared after Gojira though. I didn't see him after that.
Well, his friends came up. We saw his friends. Yeah, I don't know where he went.
He was the guitarist, lyric writer, kind of visionary guy for the band, and then his buddy was the drummer. And he's got this song. Was it Coraline? Is
Coraline. That's the one I liked.
Is that the song that's playing right now, or whatever? So
it's play. I'm gonna put it in right here.
So we ran into the big homie, and it was cool though, because he's like, I'm happy that there are Christians and that still listen to metal, because I'm a Christian metalhead too. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited about that, and he's talking to me about his band and all the rest of it. Then after that, another person comes up to me. This kid, he's about, he's shorter than Dorian.
Yeah.
Braces, 17 years old.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, are you Vin and Sori?" And I said, "Who?" Just kind of screwing with him. He's like, "Are you?" I was like, "Yeah, man, what's good?" Da 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 da. And he's like, "Whoa." He's like, "Hey, my name's Cameron. Wow, I'm really happy to meet you guys. Da 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 da. I'm very excited to see you guys." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool, fam." And then he went back to hang out with his friends.
Yeah.
And
in the meantime, I went to get a water because you know I need my water all the time. So I went and got a water, and they took the cap off my water, and I was like, "Why?" I'm like a super curious person. Like, you can't just do something weird and not tell me why you're being so weird. I said, "Why are you taking the cap off the bottle though? Like, I know that's." She's like, "Well, it's the rules." I'm like, "I get that that's the rules, but why?" And then she said that it's actually something that the bands request because they don't want people throwing caps at them during the show.
True story.
Yep. I was like, oh.
And then was it John Mayer? He had like.
Oh, I guess
no straws or something.
He was like
that.
No straws or covers on the drinks because he wanted to like save plastic or something like that. No covers or something like that. Yeah, and then they ended up having to pour all the drinks into cups, which ended up taking more plastic. So she was like, "I see what he's trying to do, but."
Shout out to the big homie.
Yeah, he tried.
So we line up. And we got to the front row.
Yes. I felt a little bit weird because there was this girl on crutches that was like going in. She couldn't go very fast. And we were like, went past her. And so I felt a little bit like a...
Yeah, you were telling me like you went past that girl.
Well, I was just teasing you on that. But I legit felt a little bit weird about it. Like, here's this girl on crutches and she probably wants to be right up there. But now that I think about it, she shouldn't be up in the front on crutches anyway. That didn't even make any sense.
Disaster.
Yeah.
But it was cool though. There are a couple of disabled Slipknot fans that were there in wheelchair and stuff like that. I love that. Like that's cool. And it was cool. Like nobody. It was just like, hey, you're a metalhead. Doesn't matter. Wheelchair, crutches, doesn't matter. I was like, that's dedication to go on a broken ankle or whatever it was, and
yeah.
She was still able to go.
Yeah, and that hurts when you're like that. You have to like prop your foot up. That's the only way that it kind of feels better. And there's no way to prop your foot up in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was one hurting unit that night and the next day.
You're going to be standing up for 8-9 hours a pop.
Yeah.
At these shows. So, yeah, especially if you're like,
even if she found a seat, there's no way to prop your leg up. So.
Yeah. So we're there, and we get to the front row, and I look behind me, it's that kid. So we had the Elizabeth guy, I forgot his name, damn it. So we had him, he was with us, and then that Cameron kid showed up, and he was right next to us. And so he was like, whoa, I'm hanging out with Vin and Sori, and I'm seeing Slipknot, this is great, yada, yada, yada. And it was cool. And then, so we were lined up beside this couple, which you would notice from the thumbnail. And you can see here that they were Slipknot fans. Because they both had Slipknot tattoos.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right? So you're seeing it right now. That was real talk. And he was good to her. Their dynamic was cool. Because he was like, over her.
I know. I always like it when guys do that.
He was like over her at the pit and all that, and making sure that she was like, she was straight. You know what I mean? And they had their little Slipknot tattoos and all that. And I'm like, all right, like. They couldn't have been more than 17, 18 years old.
I know, it was super cute. And then there was another girl that popped up after that showed us her tattoo also.
Yes, the one behind us.
Hers was really cool, yeah.
She went to her first Slipknot show at 5. She was 5 years old. And I'm like, how the hell does a 5-year-old go? And she's like, well, it's my dad. My dad brought me a Slipknot show, da-da-da. And it like struck...
That's cute.
It struck me like... The last Slipknot show I was at the Pledge of Allegiance tour. It was around 2001. Mm-hmm. Or early 2002. Mm-hmm. All the people that we were surrounded with, the majority of them hadn't even been born. Like Cameron hadn't been born.
It was weird.
At my last Slipknot show. So when I hear like this guy took his 5-year-old daughter to a Slipknot show, I'm like, I could be her dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like probably one of those people that went to that show and had a daughter. It was like
it was pretty weird.
It was like whoa.
Like all of a sudden I stood back and I like looked at everybody and I was like, whoa, we're like the oldest ones right here.
Yeah, like we were the and I turned around like, oh, you guys are younger than me, but I guarantee you I'm gonna be headbanging harder than all of you. So it was a really crazy moment, just like looking around and seeing like, wow.
Yeah.
And like being amazed by this band because it's like you've got a multi-generational impact. Mm-hmm. And it's when Wait and Bleed was written, Cameron wasn't even born.
I know.
Wait and Bleed was written in the 90s, you know what I mean? Like so it was like whoa, like this was crazy. So we get there and we're in the pit, and then like I always say, I always try to befriend the security folks up the very, very front
because they had a hard job.
They have a ridiculously hard job that nobody ever thanks them for. So shout out to Matt, shout out to Nick, because so we had Nicholas and we had Matt, and they were kind of with us the whole show. And
here's a picture of us with them.
So Nicholas was really interesting because he had his dad, his family, like they run a farm and so they raise beef and cattle and all that.
Yeah, but they do it like it's, from what he was saying, it sounds very humane, grass-fed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everything. They take really good care of them. They even name them, which I thought was like, I wouldn't be able to do, but that means, they really care for them while they're there, and then, I understand if you're a vegan, that probably doesn't help you at all, but I just like, if you're going to eat meat, that it would be done humanely, I think is a great thing. And so his family has, a business where they sell that beef. So
his cousin is Avril Lavigne. So
yeah,
how real is that? So it was cool because he was really, really passionate about. You could tell like immediately once he started talking about it. He was passionate. He was actually very, very proud of his family and his dad and all that. So that was cool. Shout out to Nick. He actually gave us his phone number. We're gonna be calling him
to get some of that beef.
To get some of that beef or to kind of hang out with him or whatever. So and they're in Vermont or Rhode Island? I think it was Rhode Island. I'm not sure. And then so we're talking to the Matt guy before the bands come on, and he's like. Yeah, Volbeat is the band.
Yeah.
He's like, Volbeat. And usually the security guards are like,
I know.
But
he said that he got the job for that band.
Right. He had a Volbeat, like, armband.
Yep.
And then he's
underneath
inside his he had a Volbeat shirt. Like, the guy was a Volbeat guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, tell me about Volbeat. He's like, well, they're kind of like rockabilly meets
Elvis.
Metallica meets Elvis, da-da-da-da. I'm like... Okay, because we on the drive up, I was like, let's listen to some Volbeat because we're not familiar with them at all. But there was one, it was like 30 seconds in, Sori was like, turn this off, because we were in Slipknot mode, and Volbeat does not sound like Slipknot. So when we got to the venue, and then Matt was really hyping up Volbeat.
He did.
Really
everybody around us was hyping him up.
Yeah, that couple next to you, they were like really big on Volbeat. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's see. And then I was completely blown away by this, but Behemoth opened the show. Now, I was convinced that it was going to be Volbeat, Gojira, Behemoth, Slipknot.
Yep, that's the order that I thought it was going to be in also.
I was certain that that's the way it was going to go. But that's not how it went. Behemoth opened up first. They come out, and I'm looking at Cameron. I was like, "Yeah, you a Behemoth fan?" He's like, you know. And then Behemoth comes out, and I'll say this: it was the best opening band I've ever seen. Right?
Behemoth, I think I love their band.
Yeah.
And I love the aggression that comes out in their singing, and I mean,
it was the daytime. Like, it's completely inappropriate for Behemoth to be performing in the day. You know, like it just. Yeah. But they still did so good with it.
Yes, they did.
Like they were so good live, and we were lined up by Orion. It's funny because Cameron asked me later. He goes, "Did you name your baby after Orion from Behemoth?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what happened."
That's his reasoning.
No. Okay, so Orion, the name popped into my head when we were at the Behemoth show.
Yes.
And Orion is really like probably my favorite member of the band, just like aesthetically.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He kind of looks like what he's trying to portray.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Whereas Nergal is cool too, but like he doesn't really look like if Nergal appeared in your room, you'd be like, "Oh, what's up, Nergal?" But if Orion appeared, where's my gun? Pacifism. I wouldn't really shoot you, but I would act like I would. But then if you were a demon, you wouldn't really care about that. So I don't really understand how.
That's all gonna.
But anyway, like we were lined up by Orion, and good lord, they put on a really, really good show, even though it was daytime.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They did like all of a sudden I saw like the security people like pushing like the security people to the side. I'm like, what's about to pop off here? So they all moved to the side, and I'm like, what's happening? And then Nergal spit blood. Well, I don't think it was blood, but it was like red substance all over the people in the front. And we were in the front, but it like stopped just shy of us.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not okay with being spit on.
Yeah.
I tell him, I'm like, context is everything. Like, if somebody got spit on in public, you would be outraged. But because it's a concert and it's Nergal, people are okay with it and whatever. But I'm like, to me, it's bodily fluids, and don't put that on me.
It's a big part of the show.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, when we saw them at House of Blues, we didn't see him do that.
Oh, really?
I didn't see him do that. I don't remember him doing that. But we were right there. We were up front, and I looked down, and sure enough, blah blah.
I was like, I want to go on the other side of Vin to get away from it. I was like, no.
Well, I think he kind of knows who to do that to. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of tell
who wants
who would be good with that. You know?
Yeah. That's true.
I love Behemoth, but I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy.
Don't do that to me, Nergal. No, sir.
Hey, this guy right here.
That's a real deal.
This is a real motherfucking. Hey, look, he got baptized by Nergal. That's kind of heretical. God forgive me, but he got the spit, the blood spit, and all that shit. This is a real dude, man.
Wow.
It's all over the place.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Down.
They were really good sports. They're like, shout out to everybody. They were talking about the other bands and stuff like that.
It seemed like there was like a lot of people that were not familiar with Behemoth, but the crowd liked them.
Well, I turned around to Cameron after. I'm like, "What'd you think, bro? What'd you think about Behemoth?" He's like, "Oh man, they were good. I didn't really, but they were. But they put on a ridiculously amazing show.
Did, yeah.
And again, I personally thought that Behemoth should have been later on, in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
What do I know? I'm not the show organizer. And so then the crowd starts filling in more and more and more. And he even said, like, thanks for coming early to see us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, Behemoth should not be opening for anyone. Like, they should not be the first band.
I thought that was bizarre.
It's just weird, man.
Yeah.
Especially the Slipknot show. Like,
yeah.
It was weird to me, but he was a good sport, and they played their ass off, even though, and they had some pyro going and stuff at the very, very end.
Yeah, and the fog and
so then the crowd starts filling in a little bit more. I turn around and Cameron's. There were other people too that recognized us from the channel.
Yep.
And there was one kid who's a big Gojira. He's like, I love Gojira. Gojira's my favorite band. Like, I love them more than Slipknot. I was like, shit, bro. I said, well, if I can get a pick, it's yours. Gojira gets on stage.
Yes.
About 30 seconds in, camera goes, oh my God, that's the guy from Slipknot, the bassist from Slipknot.
Yeah.
Nergal
was out there. They were all on the side of the stage watching.
Clown for a little bit. Like, Gojira is a band that other bands watch from the side of the stage.
Right.
That tells you everything you need to know about those people.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah, they
were so good live. It was just like relentless. Their style is like, it's very hard to even quantify. But basically, Gojira, and I've been doing this because I've been listening to the studio version, comparing it to what we heard in the live version. Gojira is literally 3 or 4 times better live.
It's crazy.
Than in the studio.
It's crazy.
And when I say that, keep in mind, this was an open air venue. And they were still better sounding than they do in the studio. Now, I don't know how they pull that off. I don't know if they spend a bunch of money on their gear. I have no idea. But
it was an incredible show.
It was incredible. It was very, very, and they had the whole thing lined up, like their set and everything. And you guys are seeing pictures and stuff. But they were unbelievable. So I'm rocking. I'm having fun. I usually try to like pace myself and save all the heavy shit for the band that I really love. But you had no choice. So then the drummer, that drummer, man. He is the highest talent in that band, and he kind of makes it ridiculous. He kind of makes it go.
Oh my word!
That guy, he makes it go.
He demanded the attention on that drum set. He just was incredible. But it wasn't like showmanship. It was just he just played with everything that was in him. Like all of his strength was going into that. I just think that's great. Just incredible.
Unbelievable. So he's playing, right? And he caught my eye randomly for 2 seconds. And then he looks at me and he chucks a stick at me. So as the stick is in flight, I'm like, yes, I'm going to be able to bless this kid with this stick. Like, not going to get him a pick, but hopefully he'd be
happy with a drumstick.
Look, this was a stick that was held by the guy from the band.
Yeah.
So the stick comes flying, and the couple that you were next to, the guy leans over and gets it. Now, for me, personally, I don't have a problem with that in the sense of if I wanted the stick, you know what I mean? Like the guy was clearly looking at me, obviously. I don't have a problem with, the Darwinian stuff, like, survival of the fittest, whatever. But I cannot tell you how furious I was. To me, it's like, we've been to these shows. All of us. When I say I'm talking about people in our age bracket, because the couple was in our age bracket.
Yeah.
It's like, we've been to these shows. We've been to dozens of them. I don't know how many of them, they went to, but they've been to all these shows. And it's like, these kids now, it's their first experience. You know what I mean? Like, again, we were at these shows before these kids were born. So it's like, to me, it's like, it's not our turn now. It's their turn to have the cool, crazy experience and the happiness and all that. And so I was just kind of like, come on, man. Like, how it's not, to me, it's like, it's not about us anymore. It's about these people could be our kids. And you're taking the memorabilia from these kids. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, it really pissed me off. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't communicate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had that in my mind that I was going to give the stick to this kid. And it's not that the stick wouldn't be valuable to me. I went to a Slipknot show, like I said, 2001, Zem, System of a Down. System of a Down came down and, like, gave me a hug and gave me the pick, the bass pick, the purple one. And then I got picks from Jim and Slipknot directly after the show, and I met them. That happened almost 20 years ago. I still have them, like, to this day. I still play with them and everything. So, like, I know how important those moments are. So, like, I wanted to give that to the kid, but it was just, mine. I was just like, oh my God. I was pretty pissed about that, for sure. For sure. You seem to be fine though.
Oh, I was fine with it because, you know, while you're saying, you know, while it's these kids' experience and stuff like that, like I mean, you don't know what this experience is for these people. I didn't know.
I do. They said they've been in these shows bunches of times.
Well, I didn't know that at that point, and so I was thinking, well, you know, they got in the front, they got their thing. Like some people, like I could totally see it being a thing. Like every show we go to, let's try to catch one thing.
Oh,
like,
she had already gotten a stick from Behemoth.
Right. And that part, that was, oh yes, because by that point I was like, because she grabbed the Behemoth one and then she grabbed that one too. And that to me was confusing because I was like, well, I can see grabbing like one thing, but I don't understand grabbing two things, especially when there's so many fans here that would like it. And, you know, they had expressed before that they didn't like Behemoth. So, and you know, they had reasons for why they didn't like Behemoth. So that made even less sense to me why you would keep the drumstick if you don't even like the band at all. So that was just confusing to me. So yeah, I was forgetting that the Behemoth thing had already happened. And then when they grabbed the second stick, I was frustrated by that too, yes.
Yeah, but you know, at the same time, I had not communicated, hey, I wanted to give the stick to this kid. Although I will say, I don't think that would have changed anything for that particular individual.
No, I don't think so either.
You know, but the thing that pissed me off was like the guy clearly pointed at me. It was funny because he was looking around like later on in the set, and I was just like rocking, having fun. I was like, yeah, man, yeah. I was just rocking. And he looked at me and he's like, he basically said, I already threw you one.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, not really. But anyway, so unfortunately I couldn't get the kid the Gojira stick. You know.
We tried.
But the kid had a really, really good time. I just would have loved to have given him a stick from the actual drummer.
I know. And you said when she took the second stick, you were like, oh, you really stacking them up there, girl, or something like that. And when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, he's annoyed just like I am. Because I could tell by, like, nobody else would have known that you were, like, by what you said. But I was like, oh, yeah, okay, he's annoyed with that too. So, anyway.
Like I said, for me, when I go to shows, like, I feel like, you know, I'm speaking probably from a position of privilege because we talk to so many of these people. We know the band members talk to us, and we have a lot of. Well,
that's why I'm saying I don't have a problem with somebody grabbing one.
We have a lot of behind the scenes relationship with some pretty big bands, so it's kind of like, to me, it's like, I you know, it'd be like, well, not everybody has those types of relationship with these bands. So to them, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. They're not hooked up with their publicist and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So easy for you to say, Vin, to give it all to the kids, you know. But so I don't know how it would be if we weren't, you know, in the situation where I don't know. But to me, anyway. So Gojira tore down the house. They're like I said. You know, when bands, Lindsay talked about them, Lindsay Schoolcraft, because they went on tour with Cradle, and she said she went to the side stage to watch them play, and she said they brought her to tears. Yeah. Because the other thing about Gojira is they're very conscious of the environment, what we're doing and all that. But they just came and just tore down the show. They did the gift, they ended with the Gift of Guilt. I listened to the Gift of Guilt in the car, the studio version. It was nowhere near as good as seeing it live. You have got to see Gojira live. Any opportunity you can to see Gojira,
take it.
They need to headline a monster tour themselves. Like they're like the next thing for sure. I mean, they're just unbelievable. So Gojira left the stage after tearing it down, and then Volbeat came on.
It's funny too because in between each of the shows, usually we're farther away. So it seems like, oh, when is the next band going to come up? When are they going to come up? But being right there at the front, I was able to watch them break down the old set and then setting up the next one, which to me is wildly interesting. I love projects
you love all the behind the scenes
stuff like that, like going on, like how are they going to do this? And I loved watching the people work together like a fine oiled machine. Like everybody had their job and everybody did their job with excellence and got in and got out.
Again, it's another one of those things that people are going to be like, wow, who cares? But that crew was the best crew I've ever seen about setting up and breaking down. They did that so quick. That was the quickest I've ever seen. They were really, really top-notch professionals.
Very impressive, yep.
and everybody was like right on schedule. There were no delays or anything like that,
Yep.
and it was like it was crazy. It was the best. It's cool to see it up front. I think some of it for me is like I know how much work behind the scenes it takes to present a 30-minute video. People are looking at a 30-minute video. You're probably going to spend 3 or 4 or 5 hours editing this video. So I think now that we're kind of on the other side of things, it's like, but that stage crew was insane. And the funny thing was they had the head of security, Slipknot guy, I think the guy travels with them. He started like looking at our barricade and stuff. Because sometimes Corey gets death threats. A lot of people don't know that.
That was
that big security dude with the whatever
headphone things.
Yeah.
No, he worked for the venue. I thought.
I don't know.
Because they told me.
Anyway, Matt
and Nick told me that he was the head of security. I said, "Oh, he's the big guy here," and they said yes.
Yeah, he was looking around for something, which I thought it was kind of weird, given our current.
I was like, "Are we safe?"
Situation. I pretty much had thought through. Okay, something happens, da. But we were in pretty good shape. Something happened, but. I didn't tell you anything because I wanted you to enjoy the time, but it was kind of weird. But
I was already thinking it. I already thought the whole thing through, and I had my own plan.
It's 2019, so unfortunately, you kind of have to think about those things.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I kept praying actually during the concert. Nothing would happen to anyone.
And then Volbeat came on. Now Volbeat, I was very, very. As the night went on, I was very excited to see because there was a lot of. Volbeat fans are very...
There was a lot of hype.
They're very passionate about Volbeat. So Volbeat comes out. The first thing is that this guy, the guitarist, looks exactly like Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, look, this is Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't he?
I mean, this
Vin
guy...
was saying he looks like Aaron Rodgers, and then you pulled up a picture. I was laughing so hard, I was like, oh my god.
He looks exactly like Aaron Rodgers. Now, Volbeat is not metal. They are rock and roll. It's more like an Aerosmith type of... rock and roll type of thing. Although I do see the correlation aesthetically between them and Metallica, especially the lead singer, rocking the vest and all that. So I definitely see that correlation, but they're not metal. They're more like rock and roll, more like an Aerosmith type sound. Well, not sound, but like I definitely see them opening or being on a bill with Aerosmith than being on a bill with Slipknot. And,
that would make more sense, I guess. I really like Aerosmith though.
So when Volbeat came on, I was like, all right, let me, and initially I really did not like them because I was like, how in the world does this band fit with what we just saw with Behemoth and what we just experienced with Gojira? First of all, anybody that follows Gojira, when I saw Slipknot at Tattoo the Earth, that was in 2000. Slayer was on the bill, Metallica was on the bill, all these bands were on the bill. Slayer went before Slipknot because they said they didn't want to follow Slipknot. That was when Slipknot had just started out. So it was kind of the same type of energy. Like Gojira just crushed the show, and then I could justify putting Gojira on after Behemoth. To be frank with you, like I understood. I understand that. I was initially like surprised and offended because obviously we're more, we've done more, Behemoth songs than Gojira songs. But after seeing Gojira, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yep.
But Volbeat, as they started playing their songs, like I was like, what the hell
is happening?
Who decided to put these people on this bill?
I was all wound up and then I was like, what?
Well, the problem, but as the night went on, and then there was like a fight in the pit, which is also weird to me, like, of all the bands there to have a fight in the pit, I would figure it'd be Behemoth or Gojira, or Volbeat would not be, but he stopped the show, he's like, yo, come on, and they're from Denmark.
Yeah, he said, he basically said, we're not gonna fight. We're gonna get along. We're gonna have fun.
It's rock and roll.
So no fighing.
And he's like, cute. Security. What's security doing? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And the other thing that was, the guy from Volbeat reminded me so much of Peter from the Village.
Yeah.
Sarcasm.
That's what you were saying. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He reminded me so much of Peter. Like, I wanted to go up there and give him a hug. It's like, Peter! It's Peter!
Blonde, but Peter!
He's got that European attitude. Yeah. Let's be nice to each other. No fighting. Have rock and roll. And just a very gentle soul.
Yeah.
You know what, Peter... Well, it's funny because Peter... I think Peter said like 9 positive things about me ever. In our relationship. Most of the time, he's always criticizing me. Yeah. But I love him because he's just got this like European. Let's just be good and eat chocolate and you know, hey, you know, Medicare for all. Like. So I immediately like started liking the band more and more just because of Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, like literally, like I love the lead singer of the band now just because of Peter. Because like I cannot separate him and Peter in my mind. Maybe like if I talked to them and knew them both personally, I'd be able to be like, oh, he's not like Peter at all.
Yeah.
But Peter's just one of my favorite human beings on the planet. There's 8 billion people on the planet.
But Peter's right up there.
He's in my top 50.
Yeah.
I love him. So when he said that to the crowd, and I was like, Peter would say that. That's how Peter would be. I would be like, that's right.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
Oh my God.
Pacifism. Jesus. Yeah. Kill them. Yeah. That's right.
Oh my God.
That would have hyped me up. I'm like, yeah. Peter would be like, stop it. Yeah. I could never play Jesus in a movie, but Peter could. And he'd be a very convincing Jesus. Siddhartha. Okay, so Volbeat gets on and you know, they're, you know, as the show, there was one part where it got very, very metal. It was like seriously metal. And I was like, oh shit. So I pulled Matt, the security guy, who's a giant Volbeat fan. I said, yo, what is the name of this song? Because when I would hear a good song from any band, I would ask somebody and they'd be like, oh, so we could review it.
Yeah. I
was like, yo, what is the name of this song? Because it was very metal. And he goes, this is just a filler that they do at their live shows. I was like, are you serious? So they did like 2 or 3 times when they had like real metal. Yeah. Like,
I felt bad for the Matt guy because he wanted to see the show, but because he's working security, he has to have his back to the show the whole time and just watching the
He was
the
a
people.
professional.
But right here, he was singing as it was going on.
This man knew every single word.
Yes, he did.
To every single song.
He did.
From this, like this guy is like he is a fan. But he knew every single word. But he was so freaking professional. Both him and Nick, like they were both. Nick, when Slipknot came on, knew every word. Yeah. But Matt with Volbeat, he knew every single word of the song, and he was just he was
definitely
just going,
a major
but
fan.
He was still like professional, looking around, doing his rounds and everything. He was so good. Yeah. And they added extra security when Volbeat came on.
Yes.
They had to have. I said, "What's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, we got to have 18 people now. For the last 2, they had extra security."
That's true. Yep, you're right. Yeah.
And so Matt was like knowing every song. So they were playing this heavy stuff, and it was just like. I was like, oh, yeah, this is really good. And then he's like, oh, it's just a filler. And he had told us before that sometimes Volbeat will have a kid up on stage.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot about that. No, he said sometimes they'll pull someone up on the stage. So we were wondering, are they going to do it? Are they going to pull anyone up here? And so they said, we had been hearing about this little kid that was in the crowd since the beginning. I never saw him.
Couldn't have been more than 4 years old.
Oh my gosh. And so they said, he's like, basically he was so small, like let him come up.
He said, this little kid, can he see anything? Bring him up on the stage.
So they bring the kid up without his mom or dad. Oh, look at him.
From Michael Colson on vocals and guitar, straight from Denver. Dear Boston. It's been an honor for Volbeat being here with all of those great bands and a great audience that have been good to Volbeat. Thank you so much for your support out there. Thank you. All right. This is still coming. Counting all the
17.
Oh, he was so cute, and he didn't even watch the band. He
just stood there and like, you know,
he was so scared. I felt so bad for him.
He put his guitar over him and everything. It was a great. It would have been a great, like, Johan would have ate that up.
Oh, yeah.
Johan would have been great. He'd have been jumping around.
Gosh,
He'd have been rocking. He would have been really, really happy. But this kid, like, you could tell. To me, from the looks of it, because when we were at the Impact Festival, there was a little kid.
Yeah.
And he was on his mom's shoulders, his dad's shoulders, and he was having fun, listening to Five Finger and all that. But to me, it became very obvious to me that this kid's parents could not find a babysitter. And they were not going to miss this show for nothing. It became obvious. To me, that's what happened. Because
you might be right.
This kid was not rock and roll at all. I'm not even mad at you, little homie. I'm not mad at you. When I was your age, I was not rock and roll either. Like, he was not. Like, if you would have taken that kid from the Impact Festival and put him on stage, he would have loved it. It would have
been different, yeah.
He'd have loved it.
Yeah, but I just think that Volbeat should have seen that. They obviously, everybody could see it. And he should have just said, hold on. Bring up Mom. We're going to start this over. That's what I would have done. Because the kid looked terrified the whole time.
He was absolutely Well, if it was you, I think you would have just went up with him.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have let my kid.
You know, Sailor would like you would have just went up.
Yeah,
just went up with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you know, but
he was so cute. I wanted to just take him, and he had his little chubby cheeks, and Orion's got his little chubby cheeks, so I was feeling bad, like Orion.
I know. I even wanted to go up there and hug the kid.
Oh, I did. I was watching the kid so much that when they took him off the stage, they were passing the kid back to us.
Yeah, they were gonna give the.
I think they thought I was the mom because I was like so like, oh my gosh, oh look at his little hands, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then we were like, no, his parents.
But the band was so good to him.
They
though.
were.
Aaron Rodgers came, gave him that pound.
Yeah.
They gave him the Volbeat, the little wristband. They were really, really good to the kid.
They were. He came around.
Good.
He put the guitar in the front, so the kid could play the guitar.
I said they're Peter.
He was
Whoever the lead singer of Volbeat, whatever his name is, he was a very, very good.
Yeah.
He was such. They were just genuinely good guys.
Yeah.
So they got.
I overall wasn't a fan of Volbeat. I was disappointed by that style of music.
Well,
that type of a show.
As the show went on, I got it. I was like, okay, I understand what this is. Like,
yeah,
I get it. And some of the songs were good. Like, I was slowly converted to them. I
wasn't really converted even by the only thing that kind of converted me was. Like, there was a cover. What song was that?
I forgot. It's something like "I Only Want to Be with You" or something like that. It might have been a Hootie and a Blowfish song. I'm not sure, but they did some cover, and I recognized it. And then so it was like a lovey-dovey song. So I grabbed Sori's hand, and then it's something like "Kiss." It said something about kiss in the lyrics. Yeah. So I kissed you in the lyrics. I kissed you when that came on, and then went back to watching the show, and then the guitarist kind of pointed at us, and he laughed.
Yes. Yeah.
He was like he thought that was cool and funny or whatever.
So then he came over after.
So the show was over. Their set was over. They were done. They were saying they were saying thank you.
Oh, is that when they came over to?
Correct.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So he comes and he leans over and he gives me the pick.
Yes, like hand passes it to Vin.
He wanted to make sure that we would get it.
Yeah. He points at Vin. He points at me.
Right.
And he gives us
If he would have thrown it to us, we probably wouldn't have ended up with it.
Okay, but Vin takes the friggin' pick and he leans over to those people that already had two things. And
three things.
They already had three things, yes.
They had
what
two
did
sticks
you say?
and a pick. They had two sticks and a pick. I said, well, aren't you guys big Volbeat fans?
And passed it, I'm like, what the fuck?
She goes,
I was so angry.
She goes, yes. I'm like, well, happy birthday. Here you go.
I looked at him. I said, I wish that you could be the least little bit, what did I say?
Sentimental.
Sentimental in a moment like this.
You didn't say it immediately.
No, I waited like 5 minutes.
She stayed completely quiet.
I was just stewing in my frustration and anger. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell him. I said, how could you pass that? That was a moment for us. You already told that other kid you were going to give away the Slipknot pick. And now we get this other moment to have something that I can make a necklace out of, and you give it away. I was so mad.
So I leaned over. I'm like, I'm going to need to borrow that pick back. She goes, sorry, I already,
She wasn't going to give it back. And I was like, I looked at him. I'm like, are you? He was like, I I could tell that he like wanted to get it back for me because he hadn't thought that through.
I hadn't thought it through.
But at the same time, like, it was too late. And
it's
I was
too
like,
late to apologize.
I was like, there's no way that I'm leaving this without that pick. And so when the song stopped, I said, yo, no, really, give me that pick. And she goes, okay. And then she took the pick out and gave it to me. I'm like, he gave it to us because he saw us kissing. So I took the pick, pocketed it.
And here it is.
And here it is, dear listener.
Dear listener. It's a very good pick, though. Yeah, the guy was a very good guy. Whoever I gotta Google this guy. We keep calling him
I know.
Peter.
So yeah, so then we kind of moved on from there. The set was setting up for Slipknot.
Yeah,
People were getting excited.
Yeah.
And you could feel the energy.
And that's when people started fainting.
Yes.
Because what happens is that his name is Michael. Okay, Michael. He's Danish. Peter's Danish too. Danish people are just gentle people, man.
Yeah.
They're the salt of the earth. Wallahi. I'm serious. They're just really, really good people. I feel like Jesus is probably Danish.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I just they're very gentle.
It's ridiculous
people.
he was a Jew, but anyway, go ahead.
It's true. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Danish people are probably closer to Romans who crucified Jesus.
I mean, my Lord.
But
you just want it to be so. Anyway, so they're there tooling. No, they were Slipknotting up or Slipknot, and
people started fainting.
All
Brought to you by capitalism because the waters are $8 a pop.
$4 or $5 a piece. But you got to think a lot of these people are kids, and they already spent all their money to buy the ticket. They saved up all their
allowance to buy the ticket.
Yeah, so they don't have money for.
And even go ahead.
It's just, I think that that's outrageous and wrong. I think that if you want to upcharge the sodas and the beer, go for it.
Right.
But waters should not be like that.
Especially in an open air vicinity.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
No.
Like it's not cool. So what happens is like even if you get a drink or two, you're standing up for 6, 7, 8 hours in the sun, and on top of that, you're really, really excited to see your favorite band, and so people just start passing out. It happens all the time.
You've already been waiting in line to get a good spot.
Yeah.
Then you're waiting. And
then it happens without fail, especially if you're in the pit. When you're in the pit, it's difficult.
So one girl was fainting over there.
Yeah.
Somebody else fainted over here. They passed the girl over. I have not seen that before. I thought the girl died. I was like, is she dead? I'm like, what's going on with her? I was like, not okay with this. I'm like, give her some water.
Yeah, her boyfriend jumped over the barricade.
He did so good.
And I told Matt, I'm like, she's dehydrated. Just get her something to drink.
Yeah.
So they got her water. She sat up. She got up, walked off.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she circled back in. There are 2 girls that had fainted that we saw, and both of them were fine afterward. But I just think that, it's water, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Sell it for $1.
That's wrong. Yeah.
You can go to Walmart and buy, a 20-pack for $6 or something like that. So if you're selling for $1, you're still getting a very good margin.
And honestly, you're probably going to make way more of a profit because there's probably going to be a lot more sales. But maybe that's part of it. They don't want the big lines from, I don't know.
That's not, it's just pure, it's one of those things where you're basically being blackmailed. It's like, okay, don't spend the $5 for the water.
Yeah, it's not right.
See how it treats you.
Yeah.
I think that's terrible.
It's not right.
So anyway, the worst example obviously was Woodstock where, so I'm like, so then I'm in my mind going, Sori, she has these fainting spells. Physically, she's fighting through stuff and all this. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm checking on her and making sure that you're good. And then, so Cameron, the 17-year-old kid with the braces, he'd been with us the whole show. He starts getting really, really sweaty. And he's like, hey man, do you think I can get a water? So I go to Matt, because usually the security guys will have a thing of water for themselves. Mm-hmm. I said, hey man, can you get me a water? Because I'm like,
yeah,
Cameron's my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get the water, and I'm like, boom, I got you, my dude. So I give Cameron the water. The dude beside him goes, hey, can I get a sip? And Cameron's like, you know, he's really small, he's really young, so he gives a guy, and the guy just takes the whole thing. The whole thing from poor Cameron.
And they had passed 2 waters to us. I took one of them.
I gave one to Sori.
I was like, after seeing all those people faint, and I fainted multiple times out in public, I'm like, I am not looking for that situation right now. Yeah. So I drank that water, and then I felt bad because I'm like, in my heart, I would rather give it to the kids, but like practically I need to drink it, and so that was like not fun. I didn't like that because I felt like, oh my gosh, because I could see those kids sweating behind us and I felt bad for them. But
well,
I
didn't feel bad for any of the kids. I mean,
I did.
If you're a guy, you go to a rock show, I mean, it's fine. But,
yeah, know, but I felt bad for them.
I didn't feel bad, but you know, but Cameron is so little, and he looked like he was in bad shape. You know?
He did. He needed some water.
So I was like, I gave the kid the water. I'm like, yeah, you're good, buddy. And then, I went back and the Slipknot curtain had come down.
Okay,
and all
but wait, before that, so I realized my phone battery was super low. I'm like, oh my word. So we were talking to, there was a couple beside us that we were talking to, and she works at a piercing place. Yeah, here's a picture of her and her husband, and they were beside us and they were taking all kinds of pictures, and I was like realizing my phone was dying. I'm like, please, send us your stuff so we can put it in our video. So she works at Miraculous Creations 2 in the Fox Run Mall. If you want a great piercing experience in a nice clean shop, definitely check us out, she said. So if you're looking to get pierced, that'd be the spot to go to. She's saying it's really good over there. I haven't seen the spot, but if I was in that area, I would definitely check it out. So shout out to them.
To the big homies.
Yeah. And they have such a cute little girl. I saw it on her screenshot. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute.
So the Slipknot curtain drops. It got raised up. So then you see Slipknot, and then it was dusk and nighttime, and
they started shaking the curtain, so you felt like the curtain was going to come down, and then it wasn't, but that just increased your anticipation.
Electrical. It was a cool.
Oh, it was so exciting, and the hype was up there. Everybody was excited. The thing, go ahead.
Like, Cameron, you ready?
I was so excited. I can't even describe to you how excited I was.
Cameron was a big Slipknot fan. He'd come for Slipknot. He was like, I was like, bro, if I can get you a pick, man, I will get you a pick, my guy.
By that time, I was good with getting a pick. I said, I'll even help get you a pick.
He asked about you. He's like, is Sori going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Once I got this one, so I had something of a moment for us.
I was like, Cam, I really wanted to get this guy a pick.
These were our bracelets.
Yeah. I really wanted to get this guy a pick, so I'm like, I was literally praying. I'm like, God, please let me get this kid a pick. Please don't let this kid leave here without a pick. I was literally praying for this kid. So, and he was kind of behind me. So we were next to the Slipknot couple. So it was the Slipknot couple with the tattoos, Vin and Sori, and then it was the Stabbed by Nikki and her husband. Send us the pictures. We were a crew, right? And for some reason, as the night went on, there was some space between us and the Slipknot. So I grabbed Kim and I was like, hey, now you're up front, man. You're right at the gate. Da, da, da. He was like, ah.
Oh, but before that happened, geez, I hope they didn't get kicked out for participating in that. I'm not sure. So these 2 guys bolted from the top, and they come in, and they're trying to jump into the pit. And they said to the guys, the kid from that band, the Bathory one, they said to him and his crew, they were like, help us in. And so his crew started helping them in. And then I didn't see them after that, so I hope they didn't get kicked out too.
Oh. Yikes, that's true. I didn't see them after that.
Yeah. So anyway, they
had these 2 chuckleheads that were trying to get into the pit and all that.
One of them almost made it in, and then they got pulled out of there, and then, I'm assuming they got kicked out or whatever. But
there is a way to make that happen. I'm not going to say how, but there's a way easily to make that happen. I'm not going to say. Speaking of which, you reminded me. So I'm there, and I get a text from Carmen, and Carmen says, "Hey."
Oh yeah. Yep.
Josh is there, and I'm like, what? Really? She's like, yeah. Say hi. Now, Josh and I are friends, but we had a look. If you're going to be in a relationship with me, conflicts are going to happen. Period. I mean, that's just that.
the nature of it.
It's just, I mean, you guys have seen Firesides and all the rest of it, and you know, people are like, I still love you. It's just, you know, we have conflict. So, you know, we had a little bit of a disagreement. Of course, Carmen is kind of like the mama of the village, so she's always kind of like, well, you know, be nice to your brother. Da, 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 da. She's kind of like the, you know, whatever. So we hadn't really seen each other since we had, you know, our little conflict or whatever. So I messaged him. I'm like, hey, you're at the show? He's like, yeah. And I couldn't find him. Well, I finally look, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get him into the pit. But I had a little plan, but my plan got foiled very quickly because we didn't have enough time to coordinate. Because I didn't know how far, because he was like all the way on the other side. So when I was formulating my plan, I was walking, what I was going to do.
Don't say it.
I was going to do something, but she was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get in. But I was pretty sure I was going to be able to get in. But, you know.
But I didn't want you guys both getting kicked out of the show.
We've done it before. We did it at the Cradle Show.
Yeah, but.
You know, I just, you know. So I was pretty confident I was going to be able to make it work. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The important thing is, you know, we actually got to connect physically and give him a hug. And
yeah, I was at the barricade, like at the front, keeping our spot, and I saw them going to say, I saw you going to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And,
no, it was important. It was important for me to...
Plus, I always feel weird about conflicts. So, like, because there's like a little thing. So I was like, ugh, how weird is this going to be? But you were good. Everybody was good. So.
Nah, we were both good. Yeah. We were both just happy to see each other. You know what I mean? Like,
I tried to wave, but you guys couldn't see me.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm sure we're going to talk more in the future. And I mean, he lives there. So.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the only time a big band comes to that spot. So I'm sure we'll be able to coordinate better and we'll be able to get him to be with us. But anyway, you know, God has his plans, right? So we was able to hang out with him for a little bit before, you know, we went back into the pit or whatever. And then Slipknot shows up. And it was weird to me because like Slipknot is kind of like one of your favorite bands. But they're so angry, but you don't really like put off that type of anger, and you're very, very beautiful, and you're so I'm like, yeah, like how is she really gonna do at this show? Like, you know. So the curtain comes down, she goes ballistic, it's People Equal Shit. And I had and you were rocking, like you were legitimately like rocking really, really, really hard.
The girl next to me like looked at me for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were rocking really, really hard.
Oh my word!
I have a clip of here you go. Sorry, and this was pretty much the entire night, rocking. I mean, look, we were on mixed side of the stage, which is funny because the last time I was at the Slipknot show, I was also on mixed side of the stage.
Oh yeah.
And Cameron's there. He's losing his mind, and then we had like a little crew. Like everybody around us kind of knew who we were.
Yeah.
I hate saying it that way, but everybody around us kind of recognized us from. So we had a little crew and all the rest of it. So People Equal Shit comes on. Everybody's like it was just crazy. Like crazy. It was People Equal Shit, Sick, which was. People Equal Shit was the second song we did ever in the village, and Sick was the first song we ever did.
And it's so easy to remember, People Equal Shit, so I was like yelling with it and stuff. Oh man.
And then like when the breakdowns and stuff would happen, I'd be like, all right, it's gonna come now.
It's so funny too because like the Christian side of me, so like the angry whatever, I was like, I was doing the People Equal Shit part, but then the Christian side of me was like, but you're all still valuable.
Y'all you're sick, but you're great in the image and likeness of God.
Yes.
Never forget it.
That's legit what kept happening in my head. So it was just super exciting. I was just losing my mind, and he was jumping around, and I was jumping around, and it was like so fun.
Cam was in like heaven. He was just rocking. He knew every word, and I'm rocking with Cameron. I'm like, when this song came out, you weren't even born. That was the Iowa record.
Yeah, I was like...
that record came out in 2001, 2002. You weren't even born, young man. You were a baby. So it was just like, it was just fun, man. It was just like we were jumping around and like you were rocking hard. I could not believe it. Because it's like, oh, look at this prissy, you know. You guys saw the picture, you know. You saw the picture, you know. She looked like a little goth metal supermodel. Every time you post one of those pictures, there's always some idiot that says something ridiculous. But then there's always another guy that goes, Vin is a very lucky man. I'm like, Fajon. I know that every second of the day, sir. Believe you me. Sucks to be y'all. Okay. So.
Oh, it was a blast. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're like Gojira though. Like I couldn't. Nobody could ever follow you after that. Like, you know.
Oh.
Like, forget it. So we're rocking. That comes on. Then Sit comes on, and then what's that song? Get This comes on. Get This or Die. Get This or Die. You know, like, so they're very, like, it was back to back to back. Really, really heavy songs.
The set was big. Like, it looked like
the set was insane.
It looked like you were in like this industrial sort of place. Like, there was all these. Oh my word. There
was a treadmill that the guy was.
He would
on.
Like be walking.
He'd be
and doing,
dancing
like,
in a treadmill and all.
Yeah, and it was like. The whole
show was just insane. Like,
oh my god.
They spent a lot of money on that set, obviously. Corey was on point. Like, he was going there, and his stage presence was crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's stage presence was crazy. It was completely chaotic. There's 9 guys running around jumping.
Oh my word.
Clown was on like the elevated thing
drum
and
set,
and he was knocking the hell out of that thing. I was praying for Clown like throughout the night. So was
I, yeah.
Yeah, because
we didn't like talk about that. It was just we both were just kind of doing that.
Yeah, he'd recently lost his daughter.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that was front and center for me.
I forgot about that. That's
like 3 months ago. Very, very recently he lost his daughter.
I totally forgot. I was just looking at him and like, you know, sometimes I kind of like, I sound kind of weird, but I kind of feel somebody's energy.
Yeah.
And like there was just something, and I didn't know. I forgot that was what was it. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Damn.
Well, I could tell that you were like there was like a moment, and I told you like I've been praying for him and all that. And you said you were too. I thought you had remembered, but you just knew.
No, I didn't remember.
Yeah. So it looked to me like he was having a hard time. Like he was trying to have fun, but like it looked like he was having a hard time.
Yeah.
So whenever I'd look at him, I'd be praying for him and all that, and I just thought to myself, well, you know, this is what he does, and this is the way that he's dealing with it. I'm pretty sure he brought his kids with him on the tour, because Cam actually is Instagram friends with his son.
Yeah.
And so
he was watching Gojira.
He was watching Gojira, and he was
drumming. He's a drummer or something.
Yeah, and he was there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's like, okay, so this is one of the ways that he wants to deal with it. He wants to work and get it out and all that. So I'm like, all right, you know. So I was just kind of like, that was part of like me rocking, having fun, and being like, you know, hey man, you're still here, blah blah blah. So that was tough. But he went and did his thing, and he did the best that he could. You know, he's doing a really, really good job. And and then Heretic Anthem comes on. You know, 555 and I'm 666. And every time it was 666, I was like 666. You know, because it was kind of like me saying. And it was funny, like, because there was something with Gojira, not Gojira, but Behemoth was like, Hail Satan.
Yeah.
And I said, fuck that. Hail Jesus. I'm like, I ain't no fucking sellout. And Nick was laughing.
Yeah. People around that heard it were laughing too.
Yeah.
Just a fun moment.
Yeah, it was fun because I was, you know, hey, I'm going to have fun at the show.
Yeah.
But I'm not selling out. Fuck that. Hail Jesus.
But we're not disrespecting our God.
But yeah. And I don't want a lightning bolt to smash the stage and kill poor Norgal either.
Aww.
It's like, hail Jesus, so that, you know, the son of the council doesn't come down there and show y'all what's what. But it was cool though, because like, you know, the metal community, man, it's like nobody cares. Like, okay, like, and I think there's like a respect element too. Like, you're in this show with all this satanic imagery, and you're saying fuck all that, hail Jesus. Like, people are gonna be like, okay, I respect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, like, you gotta have some cojones to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want no smoke with Vincent. so that was fun. So the Heretic Anthem came on. It was like, you know, sing. I was like, fuck that. And but we were rocking hard.
Oh my gosh! But it wasn't like okay, well, we're supposed to rock, so let's rock. It was just like you just did it. You wanted to, you know. It was so exciting and fun, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could not believe, because it takes a lot out of you physically. Especially if you're waiting for the main stage, like the premier band, because that's the end of the night, and you've already been standing there, and you haven't had a lot to eat, you haven't had a lot to drink, and so, like, I was very, very surprised that you were rocking as hard as you were, like, for all the songs. It was unbelievable to me. I'm like, how is this happening?
There's no way I could not. It was, they just, oh my word, their energy, I love it. And then when he came out with the bat, and it was like on fire.
Yeah.
And then he came over and he was like hitting this thing, boom! I was like, oh my gosh!
Well,
it was just fun.
You saw them prepping, like on the side backstage.
Yeah.
You saw them prepping, and I saw the guy with the flaming, you know, whatever.
It was a bat. It was.
Yeah, and you were like, yo, yo, yo. And sure enough, they give it to Clown, and Clown is just whacking that thing, Then he chucks it on the ground.
Yes, I was like, oh my god.
And I was like, oh my god. He just like nonchalantly chucks it.
The guy grabbed it real fast and ran out back with it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I'm like, this is insane. And the pyro was there. It was just... it was the craziest set and show ever. It was like the part that, like, you know, I always talk about it like, oh, you know, like these people, like, they treat it like, you know, just some guy on the street, like they're not, but like they put on, it was larger than life. Like, there were so many things going on, and the aesthetics were like, it was like an industrial kind of thing, but it was also beautiful. Like, you had deep blues and deep reds, and it was just like, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And then I look over, and my man Cam is looking really bad. My little man Cameron, he was looking really, really bad. And he's like, can I have some water?
Yeah.
So I said, Matt, I really got to get this kid some water, man.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, because they you know, they have a very, very strict policy. Like, they've got to...
Because they can't get distracted, and then all of a sudden something pops off. They've got to be looking at the crowd.
Yeah. So then I saw another guy, and I said, you got to get this kid some water, man. So the guy got the water, and I gave it to Cam, and, you know, he drank it and all that. And then Corey starts talking about the metal community, and I'm so angry at myself. This is when All Out Life, this was right before All Out Life. And he started talking about the metal community, about how people try to kill the genre, but we're still here, and that metal community is all a family.
Yeah,
and there's a lot
it was
of
really good.
He's like, look around you.
Yeah.
These are all the motherfuckers in your family. Da 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 da. And
it was good.
It wasn't preachy, but it was very needed for this time period that we're in America.
Yep.
Okay, let's say it that way.
Yep.
And it was a really, really good moment. And I was so caught up in the moment that I didn't think to film it. So it was one of those things you just had to be there. And it was cool because, you know, he was like, we all love each other. And I was like, hey, Cam, you know, and he kind of gave me a little side hug or whatever.
Yeah.
And Matt was looking at me. He was all like, I could tell he was really happy. You know, like,
the whole thing, it was really good.
It's very counterintuitive when you think about metal and how aggressive the music is, and how, you know, I wish a lot of Christians could go to a show and understand what's happening in that moment.
Without the biases or the presupposed ideas about the whole
thing. And
thing.
I get it, you know, you see a lot of satanic imagery and things of that nature and blah, 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 blah. But to me, when I see satanic imagery, it's like, well, you have to know the Bible to know about the devil. So, if you look at Nergal's lyrics, Nergal knows way more about the Bible and intertestamental literature than any. I'll put him up against any Christian. He knows his shit. So, you know, I just wish people could see.
I agree.
Below the surface of what it looks like. The lyrics are very aggressive. The attitude is very aggressive, or whatever. But it's hard shells for soft hearts. Like, metal people are soft-hearted people. and they just have hard exteriors. But if you take the time to actually look inside of these people, they're the most beautiful people of humanity. I mean, it was just a cool moment, you know. And it's a strange thing to me, because you have people, and we talk about this in the other channel, that have influence, and they use that influence to divide people. And you know, and not good division, but bad division. Because there is a good division, but not the division that we're seeing in our country is not good division. And it was mind blowing to me, because I'm like, there's so many, and we're both Christians, so we're never gonna, you know, we're gonna ride and die with the church. That's our people. We're never gonna separate ourselves from them. But like, there's so many Christian leaders who are using their influence to divide people. You know, like these pastors saying to Christians, if you don't vote for Trump, you're going to hell. And the Jews who vote Democrat are traitors. Like, just using your, like I said, you know, there's enough, you know, Jesus, you know, definitely there are things that he said that were controversial, but needlessly dividing people over political stuff, I think, is just crazy. And so I really appreciate the fact that he could have, because I've seen Corey on Twitter, he comments, he's politically aware. And so he could have used that to say, you know, blah, 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 screw Trump, da, da, da. He didn't do that. He just talked about our community and taking care of each other, because the fact of the matter is, Trump's going to be gone in the next year or 2 or 4. But we're still going to be here. And so, and you know what? Now that I think about it, he did the exact same thing. Because the Pledge of Allegiance tour happened like right after 9/11. And he basically said, we need to go after the motherfuckers that did this, but we can't go after our own kind. And what he was talking about was, right after 9/11 happened, there were a lot of attacks on Muslim Americans. And he was saying, we need to go after the motherfuckers, but these people are our own kind. And I really, really appreciated that. Like, I remember that at 9/11. And it was funny because that was the only time, because after 9/11, I was, I mean, everybody knows how I was after 9/11 and pretty much what happened with me after that. I wanted blood, and I was extremely, extremely furious. So when Corey said that, I was like, he was literally the only person that would have been able to get through to me at that point in my life. And so he did it back then, and he did it today. And it just so happens that, you know, I caught Slipknot live in 2 very politically charged moments in our country. One after 9/11, where he was talking about
so true. That's
how we need to take care of each other, in spite of the fact that, you know, if we have other Muslims, but we got to take care of each other. Like, they're not the ones that did this to us. A bunch of Muslims died in 9/11. And then he was talking about how the same thing here, but it was all about bringing people together through the music. And I that's unique to him. I've never seen anybody else do that. So, you know, call it what you want. But this is what I'm talking about the metal community versus, you know, religion and religious people, and how people look, it's a pentagram, there's a goat, blah, blah, blah. And yet the actual message of what they're talking about is extremely Christ-like. Love everybody like your brother. So it's all this, like, you know, immediate dismissal of these people when they've got some very important things to say. And newsflash, we can learn from them.
Yes.
Imagine that. You can. So I just thought it was a really, really cool moment. And then he was like, oh, we've got a song that we haven't played in quite some time. And then Wait and Bleed came on. I felt the hate rise up in me. Kneel down and clear the stealth of leaves. I wander out where you can't see. Background singer carries that note. See. Inside my shell I wait deadly. I felt it. So that song came on. It was an oldie. It was the first Slipknot song I'd ever heard. My buddy Keith in Truman High School was like, "You like Korn? Listen to these guys." I was like, "Who's Slipknot?" They're like, "They're a new band." I'm like, "They're not as good as Korn, are they?" And he's like, "Well, just listen to them." So Wait and Bleed. It was Wait and Bleed on one side of the. There was a 2-song disc. It was Wait and Bleed, and it was Me Inside. And I played both of those songs, and I was like, "Shit, I really like this band. This is really good."
Yeah.
So that brought up all those memories. So I was rocking really, really hard to that song. Well, there's a guy that's got the camera, and his job is to film the band on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
For the people in the back who can't see. And he kind of glanced the camera to me, and so I gave him the thingies, and I was just rocking. Apparently, we were up there on the Jumbotron for like 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what people were telling us. We were rocking out.
And it's funny because in other show reviews, like we did the Impact Festival and all, there's a bunch of people saying, "Yo, I saw you guys on the Jumbotron. I can't believe it was you."
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, hopefully there's enough, I can find enough video by the time we publish this video to show you guys,
Might not be super clear, but you might be able to see something.
So that was the guy, he basically said that somebody told him.
Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know.
Now, I didn't know that you gave the finger to that thing. I thought, because we were doing it to the band and stuff, so I thought that that's what was happening. But he said they told me to get footage of him giving the finger.
Yeah, and then he stayed on me for like 20, 30 seconds or whatever, and I was rocking pretty hard to that song.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can.
Anybody has any footage? Send us the link.
Well, it'll be too late by the
No,
time
but we
the
want to
thing's
see
already
it.
been published.
It won't go in the video, but I want to see it.
So it was funny because after that, somebody came and gave me a bottled water.
Yeah, they sent him a bottle of water.
Yeah, the guy went and personally got me one, and it was funny because the other ones were like little 6-ounces, and this one was like a regular Poland Springs joint. Like I was like, "Oh, okay," and I immediately gave it to Sori, and then I gave it to Cam, and Cam was like, "Are you sure?" Da, da, da. I'm like, "Yeah, man, we're good. Don't worry about it." Da, da, da. So he drank all of it.
I was like, maybe he didn't want to drink after us.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you sure I can put my lips on it?" I'm like, "It's yours. Take it. You can go for it." I didn't take any of it. Like I'm good. Like, I don't need water.
No, you took a couple sips because I said they gave this for you. You need to drink some.
Yeah, you were like, "You have to drink it. You have to drink it." And I'm like, "I'm good. Just take the water." But you made me drink some, so I drank some. And then I gave the rest to the big homie Cam. Gotta make sure my guy's okay. I'll make sure he's good. So
that's how I felt. That's why I forced you to drink some.
So the songs are going on. I'm rocking. Nick tried to do this little flicky thingy with one of his picks to somebody, and it went boom, boom. And he kind of shrugged at the person and kept going. And then we're rocking or whatever. I made eye contact with him for 2 seconds, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And he goes, "Where?" And he throws the pick right at me. Of course, it hits the barricade. So there's my chance, right? So I'm like, I look at Matt. Matt's a security guy. I'm like, that's for this guy.
Yeah.
And he goes,
you had told him before, too. You said, "I want to get this kid a pick." So he already knew that you were trying to do.
So once we got it,
and he put his foot on it, so that way nobody else could take it. Because everybody else was trying to tell the other security, "Get that for me, get that."
Yeah. So he put his So he put his foot on the pick, and Nick was there too, and Nick was like, he's like, "Yeah, I got you." Like, so when we had Nick and Matt, we were gonna make sure that we got this kid his pick, and so we're rocking. The show is going on, and then they leave. Now I knew that an encore was coming. I knew that. Because Spit It Out hadn't been done and surfacing hadn't been done.
Right.
And there's no way that Slipknot is going to do a show and not do surfacing. They usually end with surfacing. So they left the stage. And then we saw these people leaving.
Tons of people leaving.
I was like...
No joke. Lots of people.
How dumb can you be? Like, come on. Have you not been to a rock show before? These people start leaving. I'm like, they're dumb. And... So we're talking to the people around us and all that.
What'd you think, Cam? What'd you think, boy?
Loved it.
Good shit, my guy.
And then,
That's when you got the pick, right?
yeah, because doing it, so Matt comes up, gives Cam the pick. Cam is like, oh my god.
Well, then another pick had gotten thrown too, so they collected both of them, and I said, get that one to me. I wanted the second pick.
You had the base pick.
Right, so the base
It's
pick
the big
was,
base pick that they have.
yeah, and then the other
Slipknot Cam ended it. So I pointed to Sori for the base pick. So Nick gave Sori the base pick, and then Matt gave Cam the Slipknot pick, and I was so happy. I was like literally thinking, I'm like, God, thank you so much. You got this kid this pick. I'm very, very happy. Thank you for answering my prayer. You're very awesome. Thank you very much. And Cam, I looked at Cam and like the look on his face, he was so excited, he was so happy, and he gave me a hug. He was like, ah,
it was cute.
you know. I was like, oh,
you guys had a good time.
That's all right, little guy. You got it. You know, he hit me up on Instagram later. He's like, oh, thank you. You made it such a memorable experience. And I'm like, man, thank you, bro. Spent all that time with us. You didn't have to do that. So, shout out to the big homie Cam. I love you, my guy. Keep in touch, bro. I want to see how you're doing at school and all that, making sure things are good for you. Keep in touch, my guy. If I can do anything for you, let me know. But yeah, so I was like,
You were so happy at
that
that
moment right there was the highlight of the day for me, 100%. Like just seeing how, because I still to this day have the pick that Mick and Jim gave me when I met them, you know, and you know. So, like, I know how special those moments are, and for whatever, you know, he likes the channel, and you know, we're important to him, and so for him to be able to see Slipknot, and then to be with us for the whole day, and, you know, hopefully he knows I was loving him, taking care of him, you know, and I just knew that, okay, like, this is going to be a good, positive memory for this kid, you know, and it's going to, you know.
For sure.
So, it's something that, you know, hopefully, you know, 20 years from now, he's still thinking about, because I'm still thinking about 20 years ago, my experience, you know. So, that was just a highlight for me, man. It was a cool moment, you know, because there's 17,000 people there, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it's very, very difficult to get that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and he messaged me later, and here he is with the pick. I told him to give me a selfie, and he told me, he's like, yo, he's like, it's scratched up and stuff, so like Nick was using it.
Yeah.
He was actually using it. And I'm like, yeah, man, you know, there you go, bro. So shout out to the big homie Cam. I was really, really happy. And then so Slipknot comes out, and Spit It Out comes on, and you know that moment in Spit It Out, y'all know what I'm talking about, you know, when he, bam, are you sick of me? Good enough, had enough. And he stops it, and then they just do the dun 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 dun, and then he gets everybody to sit down, and then he's, bam, are you sick of me? And instead of saying good enough, had enough, he says jump the fuck up, and then the whole place goes crazy, and you know, and so we're all leaning down. So me and Cam are like down, and then I look over to Sori, and all I see is her butt.
I was standing because I was like, first of all, my kids showed me like a day before this whole thing on Brain Games where like people follow the crowd and like the extents that people do to follow a crowd and be part of a crowd. And I'm not that type of person. So when it happened and he told everybody to get down, I was like,
even Corey got down.
Everybody got down. So I stood up and I had like both of my fingers, and I was just yelling, like that the whole time, and it was so much fun.
I looked at her and she's like, I will not conform!
Yes, that's right!
Which is hilarious because it's like Slipknot, it's all about rebellion, fuck this world, yada yada yada, but at the same time everybody's going along with the same thing, everybody's wearing the same shirts, da, 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 da. And it was one of those things where eventually we'll probably tell this story, but it was an important moment for you.
Yes.
And I knew it was an important moment for her, and I also knew that I didn't need to stand up there with her. Like it's on her own. Yeah. It's on her own. She's got her own thing going, her own identity. And I completely got it in the moment, and God was kind of like, leave her, let her have it, let her have the moment. This is none of your freaking business, Vin. just chill out next to Cameron and have a good day. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, Lord, roger that. And then you were just up there, fuck that shit, I will not conform. And then he says, jump the fuck up. It's like,
Well, before they said jump the fuck up, I was standing, and then the security guards they thought I was confused. They
Yeah.
were like, get down.
Yeah.
And I was like, no!
Fuck all of you!
Yeah, and then when they did it, then I went down, and they were like, oh, they saw what I was doing.
Oh, we said jump the fuck up, you went down?
Yes, I went
I didn't
down.
see that part because I was too busy rocking. Enjoying the show properly as God intended. So, we're going,
Oh,
and
man.
the night is pretty much almost over. And so, like, that's when you really put it out there. And then, of course, surfacing comes on. So I tell Sori the lyrics. It's just, fuck it all, fuck this world, fuck everything you stand for. I'm like, think about your...
Beep!
She goes, okay. So then all this attention is doing me in. Fuck it all. Fuck this world. Fuck everything that you stand for. And it's so heavy and so crazy and it was just like insane. And then the lights and the pyro and
it was crazy.
It was just madness.
It was like these little firework things that went off too in the front.
Oh yeah, it was this constant.
Yeah.
Every drop of the beat, like the fireworks were like the pyro was in rhythm with it. I mean, it was just an amazing.
It was crazy.
Thank you so much to Slipknot because that is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is expensive, and the band has to basically sign off on it because that's cutting into what they can pocket.
Right.
And say what you want. Oh, they're all millionaires. Say what you want. I don't care.
Right.
There are a lot of bands that do not go out of their way to do that.
Yep.
And I'm not mad at them. Like, it's free market capitalism, But these guys...
Yep.
And he said something really interesting. He goes, like, when you go on tour, you don't get paid for the show. Because he said, we would do the show for free. Mm-hmm. You get paid for being separated from your family.
Yeah.
You get paid for having to do interviews. You
Yeah.
get paid for having to sleep on a bus and having to... poop at a 7-Eleven, like that's what you're getting paid for. You're not getting paid for the show. He's like, we would do that for free. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, you would do that for free. Other people would not, sir.
Yeah.
But you just got to give them a lot of props for that. Because if you're not familiar with the music business and how it works, especially post YouTube, post Napster music business, like that is a major
They look like
sacrifice.
they really enjoyed it too.
It's a major sacrifice for those guys to do that. So,
they look like they enjoy what they do when they were up there. It didn't look like they were.
it's 20 years later, and they're still like jumping around
That's
and doing all this
wild to me.
craziness. It was just it was an excellent show.
Yeah.
As far as because of the Korn show, we weren't really in the Korn show.
No,
because we
we were
were
on that
backstage
stage.
watching it. So that's the highlight of my metal perusals, right? But as far as like being in a show, that was my favorite by far.
Mm-hmm.
Being with you and watch I'd never seen a woman rock as hard for that long ever in my life. Ever. Period. So I was just really like, wow. It's like your metal credentials are sealed forever because I've seen a lot of fans, and I've seen people rock out and da-da-da-da, but not for the entire set, not like this one, Our ears were ringing, our voices
for
were
days,
off, my voice was off, whatever, and so then we're in the parking lot.
Wait, hold up. He's like, you got your metal credentials. What'd you say? You're a metal,
You're a metal chick now.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like...
Certified metalhead, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no. Going to a concert pregnant, almost like ready to deliver, was way more exhausting. So for me, rocking out the entire time when I have my own body, it's like completely easy to do. But being at the shows when I was pregnant...
You're athletic as hell.
Yeah.
You're very, very athletic.
That was difficult, being at the shows pregnant. Whew!
Yeah, but...
Your legs, your back, your feet, everything is hurting.
You crushed it. You were just rocking so hard.
Oh, man, it was just... Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah. And so, like, we had... so then we had these special parking things that Live Nation got us. It was like, hey, do this and you'll have priority parking. So when we show up at the show, they were like, no, you don't have it. So park in the general. We didn't care. That was fine. Because we're thinking, oh, we'll just get out like we did before. The only flaw was we were hanging out with Head... Mm-hmm. For 2 hours, so by the time we hit the parking lot, it was like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was empty, so.
But these people, like, I saw people, they had like pizza boxes open and they were just eating out of their pickup trucks or whatever. And the pizza joint that we ordered food from was literally 0.7 miles away. And Sori's like, I don't know if we're going to get out in time. I'm like, we're going to get out in time. So 15 minutes in, she goes, because the pizza place was going to close. She's like, you just need to walk over there. So I got out and I walked over there. So sure enough, we ran into Russell. And like, I ran into Russell because you were still in the car. Russell is like, Cradle, Behemoth.
We've seen him everywhere.
We see him like every time we go to Mass to go to a show, Russell is there. And we always find some way to connect with each other. Because he had called us from Facebook while we were in the Slipknot show.
Yeah.
Like, we were right. He was, I don't know where he was. I'm like, yeah, man, da 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 da, you know, like. And shout out to the big homie Paul. I wanted to connect with you so bad, bro. But you know, there's 17,000 people there, so we weren't able to connect. But I'm sure there's going to be another show in Boston that we'll be able to connect at for sure, big homie. Next time, I just want to like. We should probably buy all tickets together next time or something. We'll try to figure something out. But I'm at the pizza shop. There's Russell. And then Russell's like, hey, you guys, you know Vin and... He's like, do you know who these people are? He's like, you need to go to YouTube and watch these people. Aww. And I was like, oh, man. You know, like, he's such a genuine dude. Yeah. So it was cool because me and Russell got to sit down and talk for about 10, 15 minutes before his Uber came and took him away. And then you finally made it out.
I was just waiting in the car. Here's some of the pictures from me being in the car. All right, update video. Just Sori this time. So we just left the concert. My ears are ringing. We had an unbelievably awesome time. So many fun stories to tell you guys. Vin left because we're wicked hungry and there's a pizza place that closes and it's literally like a half a mile away from here. But this parking lot is not moving, like literally not an inch. So I was like, Vin, it's only half a mile. One of us should walk over there. He's like, I'll do it. So my knight in shining armor is going to get our supper. Sadly, their salads are not working tonight. They shut down the kitchen, but they were still doing pizza. So we are going to have ourselves a nice, yummy pizza. Anyway, cannot wait to tell you guys how awesome the show was. Had a really good time. Vin was rocking so hard in the front. He was like drawing attention and it was awesome and he was a badass and we had a blast together and so many stories. Anyway, so that's it for now. Sori out. At first I was like, man, I was like okay at first, but then the longer it was taking and literally the car was not moving, not even an inch.
Yeah, I kept texting her like every 10 minutes, like, is it moving, is it moving? She's like, no.
I just kept seeing all these cars going and like I was not able to move at all. I'm like, this is outrageous.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, that's all right. So I put on this song that I like. It's a worship song. And I popped that on, and so I was singing with that and enjoying that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, the left-hand side of this parking lot is empty, and I didn't see those people drive by here, so I'm like, there must be a way to get out over there. So I like stand up out of my vehicle, and I like look around, and I see that there's like a way to get out over there, and it's like, the guy was throwing his football around. He's like, you want to back up? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go out over there. So I back up and I take off out of there, and I'm like, yes. I was hoping you weren't going to text me because I wanted to just show up.
Yeah.
So, which kind of worked.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened.
Because I wasn't like really like telling you exactly where I was. But at the same time, I didn't want him to leave and start walking back to me and then we lose track of each other because his phone was dying. So,
and the restaurant, Alberto's, I think, is the pizza thing. They were supposed to close at 12. It was like 12:45. You still weren't there. So they stayed open. So shout out to the pizza place. And so I'm looking down and I'm like, looking to see the last text. I look up and there she is. I was like, ah.
He was so happy. It was so cute too.
I was very happy to see
Yes, you were.
Well, I was telling the pizza lady, I'm like, this is the most we've spent apart from each other the entire month.
So true.
So I was like,
where are you?
Where are you? So then you showed up and I was happy.
You were happy. Then we sat down, took a couple bites. The pizza was wicked good.
Pizza was very, very good.
Reasonably priced.
Yeah, very, very. I thought they were going to murder us because it's like, it's right by the venue.
Everything was closing. So.
It was right by the venue. It's like literally less than a mile away from the Xfinity Center. And they had really good prices and stuff. It was crazy. So
they could have made a killing.
I bought a 2-liter Pepsi a basic pepperoni pizza. It came out to $14 for both of those things.
If they would have had pepperoni pizzas in one of those things and had their people walking into that parking lot and selling pizzas for $20.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'd have to pay like $4,000 for a permit to do that. I'm sure the Xfinity Center would have murdered them for that. But anyway, those guys, it was great. It was a great way to close the night, and then we drove back, and that was that. So that was the show.
And it's cool because we always go to a hotel after, and I love that because we don't have to drive like all those hours back home and then whatever. Like we just go to the hotel and then we get to just shower because we were so smelly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we showered up and we had a good evening together and stuff. It's just fun, and then that was it. Like
great experience.
It was a good trip.
Great favorite show as far as being in the show by far.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to the big homie Cameron. I love you, buddy. Seriously, man, keep in touch. It was great. Thank you to the couple that was beside us.
I know, for giving us all those pictures. Shout out to them.
Yeah, the couple that was beside us. Shout out to you guys for giving us all the pictures. And then the Slipknot couple.
Oh yeah.
I love the way that guy was with his lady, man. Like I loved it. You know, when you're young and all that, like he was
making sure she was taken care of.
He was there, and she was rocking hardcore. She was rocking. She was the second rockiest chick there. Good job, little lady. We appreciate you. They're actually the thumbnail because we took a picture with them.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, are we allowed to use this as a thumbnail? And they were gracious enough to say yes. So
cool.
And just everybody around us, because like I said, we had a crew, and everybody was like high-fiving each other, and he was like, hey, and a couple people recognized us or whatever, and it was just a really, 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 really good time. And if you're a Christian and you haven't been to the Slipknot show, you should just go check it out, and watch the people and look how they are, and so anyway, another thing, we're walking out. So Sori has a bass pick.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about that.
We're walking out, and so I'm like, all right, everything is good because you got your sentimental pick, boom, and then you also got your pick from Slipknot. So I'm like,
had
perfect.
Prince on it.
I'm like, this is perfect night. And we're walking out, everybody's leaving, and then I see you start talking to this guy.
Yeah, this guy was like looking around on the floor, and I knew he was looking for a pick, but I had already been thinking, I was like, I have 2 picks in my pocket, and I don't think that that's right, like, to leave with 2 things, like, and so I was already thinking, you know what, for me, the bigger thing was the one where we had shared that moment and he gave us the pick for that, so that was like my sentimental pick that I was gonna make a necklace, so I'm like, this Slipknot one, I don't even need this, so I was like, thinking, and then like I just saw that guy like out of the crowd, like, and I saw him looking around, and I had it in my hand because I was gonna figure out where I was gonna put it, and I just felt like that's the guy. And so I said, you want this? And I passed it to him, and he was like, what? Yes! He couldn't even believe it. He's like, I've been waiting 20 years for one of these. So, and that was really, that for me was like one of my big, I had to, like, I don't know, there was so many big moments in that show.
Yeah.
Like, I love the part when you were singing to me, and that whole moment that is this pick, and then I loved standing up and being like, oh, yeah, and I loved giving the pick to the guy and being able to help orchestrate getting the pick to Cameron, and like, there was just so many moments that were just super, super cool to me, but
he looked really, really appreciative.
He was so happy about it.
Yeah. It's hard to get those things because even if the band notices you and they want to get it to you, like
everybody else is trying to get it.
It very rarely, like when they toss it to you, do you rarely get it?
Yeah.
And he was very, very grateful for that pick. Like, and I was so proud of you because I know how much you love Slipknot and and you gave it away, and it's
I didn't need to. That was just...
I was just asking God, like, I want to be a blessing to these people. Like,
and honestly, giving him the pick was so much, like, if I had the pick here right now, I'm way more happy because I gave it to him and could see how happy he was. Like, having the pick on this desk right now just wouldn't be. This one though, I wanted.
Well, yeah.
Good thing you gave it to me.
Yeah. I just wanted us to be a blessing to those people, and not in a charity sense, just. I just think that's the job, that's what we're supposed to be, is people are supposed to be blessed because they're around us. So, it was just happy, man. And it just, it's you get more when you give than the person that you give to.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look at it like, oh, you're so nice. It's actually a form of like self-love, you know, when you give to other people. You know, you're not a hero for it. It's like that's how God's has orchestrated the universe. That it's much better. You know, for our baby, like we get so much love from being able to take care of him.
Oh, I know.
Than he gets from being taken care of. So it's nothing like, you know, we all know it's just better. It's just a better thing for you. Like if you want to really be selfish and feel good, give, because that's the best way to do it. I've never met a giving miserable person. Yeah, the only people the most miserable people I know are also the most selfish people I know.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. So
for sure.
So yeah, nobody's a hero for that. She's not a hero for giving the guy a pick. I'm not a hero for giving Cameron the pick. I just, you know, we got the better end of those deals 100%. Like I'm sure Cam's happy. I'm good for him, but I got the deal out of that one 100%. So
yeah.
Anyway, just a great show, great experience. Thank you to everybody that was around us. Obviously, Cam, you know, is my guy, but everybody around us was just amazing. And everybody around us was just fun and having fun and rocking. And during surfacing, the guy behind me was like holding on to me and stuff. And I loved that shit. It was just great. So much love to everybody.
Yes.
A little bit sad the summer's over as far as like we don't have any shows on the docket to go to, but that's okay. You know, homeschool's starting anyway, so we kind of have to like...
Excited about that.
Yeah, kind of have to go and be adults now, you know.
We might have some interviews coming up too still.
Yeah, we got a lot of interviews coming up. Zonia's going to set those up. Much love to everybody. Give as much as you can. Love as many people as you can for as long as you can, for as hard as you can. And we'll see you at the shows coming up if they're in the New England area. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.